Hi, hello everyone. My name is Anna, also known as Traveling Knits over on Instagram and here on YouTube. And today we have a Christmas pattern roundup video. Now, this is not a gift list. I just wanted to make a roundup of all the patterns that scream Christmas to me. Most of them could be small gifts, but they could also be something cozy to knit for yourself during the holidays. I have divided this roundup into 4 categories. We have garments, accessories, home decor, and ornaments. Of course, garments aren't really the easiest gift knits unless you really love the person you're giving it to. But as we move into the other categories, everything becomes much more gift friendly. Accessories, home decor, and especially ornaments are all smaller and more manageable projects that make for perfect, thoughtful, handmade gifts. I have exactly 30 patterns that I'm going to share with you today, and I hope you enjoy them. A little about what I'm wearing at the moment. I tried to pick what is probably my most Christmas coded sweater. I don't have any Christmas sweaters, but I think any circular yoke motif kind of reminds me of Christmas and the holidays. This is the Celeste sweater by Petite Knit. I modified it a bit. I think in the yoke it should be one more color, but I didn't like one of the colors I picked, so I just took it out and redid the whole color scheme to fit one less color. I made it with drops daisy to make it a bit more affordable, but I must say it pills quite a bit. So I think you can really see it here. I don't wear it that much because it's white. I'm afraid to get it dirty and stuff like that. So yeah, it pills a lot without even wearing it. But let's get into the patterns. The first 3 garments I'm going to be sharing are all by Knitting for Olive. The first one that was released in 2023 is the holly sweater. This has a circular yoke construction with this beautiful holly motif around the yoke. This sweater has such a clean and modern Scandinavian style that I find very nice. It's festive but still minimal, so it could be worn on different occasions. It has a folded rib neckband and uses shaping to shape both the neckline and the body. So I think that would really help with a circular yoke sweater. This, for example, only has short row shaping for the body, and I think it could use some for the neckline as well. As you can see, this lies very up. I think it would be better if it were a bit lower. So I really like that that is included in the pattern. It calls for Knitting for Olive merino and soft silk mohair held together on 4mm needles. It comes in 8 sizes, but as the sizes grow, the ease decreases. So ease is not consistent throughout the sizes, which I know it's something that's not good. The second sweater is the snow sweater, and it was released in 2024. This still has a circular yoke construction, but the color work is at the end of the sleeves. The body is worked same as the holly sweater, so it has shaping for both the neckline and the body. But then the sleeves are knit bottom up. So first you start with the I-cord at the edge, make the color work, the sleeve, and then attach it, grafting it to the body. So it's a bit of a mix between a sweater knit top down and bottom up, which I think would be very interesting. I've never knit anything bottom up. I'm not necessarily intrigued to try it because I like my sweaters top down, but it would be different and it would be a nice technique to know. The winter landscape at the end of the sleeves gives the sweater a serene and calm winter vibe. It calls for the same yarn and needle size as the holly sweater, and as for the holly sweater, ease decreases throughout the sizes. When they released the sweater pattern, they also released a bunch of other patterns with the same tree and snow motif. For example, one that I love is the kid's dress that has these trees and snow details at the bottom of the dress, which I think is so cute. But then they also made the hat, the vest. So there's really a huge collection of them, and I think all of them are so pretty. The last sweater from Knitting for Olive is the Christmas morning sweater. And as they released the sweater, they also released a tunic, which looks like a sweater to me, but It has this nice keyhole at the back, and also the sweater has these nice presents with I-cord bows attached to them on the yoke, whereas the tunic has them at the bottom. The construction is kind of the same for both of them, still circular yoke with short row shaping for both the neckline and the body. This one feels very cheerful and homey. Now, I don't know if I would do a sweater for myself with these presents and I-cord bows, but I think for a kid they would be so cute. Yarn, needles, and sizes are the same for the two previous sweaters, and as for the other ones, ease decreases once again throughout the sizes. The next pattern is by a new to me Vietnamese designer. I will not try to pronounce the name, but everything will be linked in the description. I will make a Ravelry bundle and link it down below, so just check that out. But this is the snowflake vest. It's knit from the top down, first flat and then in the round. And it has this bold snowflake motif on the side of the vest that really stands out against the main color of the vest. This one's knit with Gazelle Alpaca Air on 5mm needles, so I think it would be kind of a quick knit. Not very quick, of course, but quicker than a sweater because it's a vest and it's knit on 5mm needles. So I think you still have time now to cast it on in time for Christmas if you want to have something for the day but haven't started yet. The next two patterns that are the last of the garment patterns are both from Augustins. Now, the first one is very, very popular. I'm sure you've seen it already, but it's a Northern Augustins number 4. This is the circular yoke sweater with the really fine and refined symmetrical motif around the yoke to create the bow and garland pattern. This calls for knitting for olive, heavy merino, and soft silk mohair on 6mm needles. I think for the collar work, maybe a bit less for the body, I'm assuming. And it comes in 8 sizes. And this time, throughout the sizes, ease remains consistent, so it's always 20cm. With this one, you could go with Christmas colors, as in the sample, or you could go for some more muted colors to make it more versatile. So it's a really nice sweater to have that doesn't really scream holiday, but can be worn as a holiday sweater as well. And then the Northern Augustins number 9, which I think recently came out, if I'm not mistaken, and it's this gorgeous almost all colorwork sweater. I love the fact that the colorwork starts a bit below and not directly at the neckline. I think this way you could play a bit more with colors you like but don't necessarily fit your face. It's knit with Crea Deluxe Organic Wool number 1 and Crea Deluxe Silk Mohair. Now this is knit on 3.5mm needles, so it's a bit of a labor of love. But I'm sure once you have it and once you put so much work into it, you'll love the sweater so much. It has the same size range as the one before, and as in the one before, ease is consistent throughout the sizes. Now I haven't knit any of the garments patterns I showed, but I have knit some of the accessories, home decor, and ornaments, so I will show them along the way. The first accessory I'm going to share with you is the Sailor Slippers by Annie Sews. Even if you don't knit, I'm sure you've seen this. This has become really popular over the last few weeks. They are this super cozy felted slippers that give off this really warm and handmade vibe. So I think they will be great to just knit for yourself to have during the holiday season to keep you warm or gift to someone because they're actually really, really quick to make. I have knit my pair. I haven't felted yet. As you can see they look huge, but I will felt them in a bit. And I'm planning to knit 5 total this season, one for myself and the other ones as gift knits. And I will be making a project vlog video about them. So that will be coming soon once I finish all the slippers. They are knit with drop snow on 8mm needles and then they are felted. The instructions go from a size 36 to a size 47 European size. But there are instructions on how to make them smaller or larger, so you can really make them for every size. The next 2 patterns are 2 sock patterns. The first one is called Into the Winter Woods by Anne Lange. It's a free pattern, which is always great, and they are fingering weight socks knit on 2.5mm needles with this really cute tree design on the cuff. It's this really nice color work that evokes quiet forests and falling snow, which I think would be so cozy to have and wear on Christmas Day in the morning to keep your feet warm. And the cool thing is also that it comes in 4 sizes, which I think is not that common for sock patterns. The other sock pattern is the Vintage Christmas Bauble Socks by Sarah Kelly, and they have this color work on the cuff inspired by those very delicate and beautiful glass Christmas baubles. They're still fingering weight socks on 2.5mm needles, so not the fastest knit, but nonetheless, I really like this one, and I might cast this on during the holidays. This next pattern, I think it was just released. I've seen it on Instagram first, and they are these very cute, I think, felted mittens knit with pure Ghent and mohair on 4.5mm needles, and have this beautiful wreath theme on the back of the hand that then she embellishes with beads and bows, which make them even nicer. Then we have one by Petite Knit, which is the Christmas bow. Now this could be listed as home decor. I made one myself. This is the one I made, which I usually put outside my door, so as home decor, but I've been really loving the picture she has on her website of the bow put on the ponytail. Now it says in the description that if you want to make the bow as home decor, you should knit it on 3.5mm needles, but if you want to put it in your hair, it should be 3mm needles to make the fabric a bit sturdier, which I think is a very good advice, so it doesn't flop as much. The bow itself is worked in garter stitch from one point to the other, and then it's folded in a bow shape and held together by this little band. Going into home decor, this first one is one I recently test knit, and it's the Winter Warmer hot water bottle cover by Laura Penrose. This is the one I made. I've never had a hot water bottle before, but now that I knit this, I cannot put it down. I use it all the time. It's knit with fingering weight yarn on 3mm needles, although I did meet gauge on 2.5mm needles. So it definitely does take a bit of time to make. In the pattern, there are instructions for two different sizes, the mini size, which is the one I made, and then the regular size. This is 500 milliliters and the regular size is 2 liters. So definitely a lot of difference in the amount of knitting you have to do, but I think it's such a thoughtful gift to give to someone. Then I have seen two patterns for two beautiful Christmas wreaths. The first one is still from Agostins and is the Agostins Interior #1. It is essentially this very long tube that you knit, but then you put around a styrofoam wreath. The tube is knit on 3mm needles, and then the bow is knit on 5mm needles, and then she adds pearls of two different sizes to the wreath to make it very, very elegant. And the other pattern was just released. It's from Vert Knit and is the Mini Missile Wreath. This is a really nice and minimalistic Christmas decoration, and I have bought a pattern already to make it. I've had this hoop in forever. I bought it in Paris probably 3 years ago, and I've been sitting on it ever since, not knowing what to make with it, and I think I found the perfect project for it. The pattern is super well written. It's really a beginner-friendly pattern as it has really in-depth instructions and pictures of the different techniques. And the little green springs are hand felted to make them even sturdier so that they keep the shape. And then everything is attached to the hoop with glue, which is why she calls for a wooden hoop and wood glue. But I do have this one, it's golden, and I think it will be very, very nice to hang outside my door and finally retire the Petite Knit bow that has been on my door for a couple of years now. And I actually have another hot water bottle cover pattern, and it's the Snowfall Town by Season Kyan. This is a free pattern. It's knit bottom up as the Winter Warmer, and really the name says it all. It has this really cute houses at the bottom of the cover, and then color work on the whole body to mimic snow. Then we have Forest for the Trees by Bronwyn Han, and this pattern is for 3 different tree styles in 3 different sizes. They're knit with Aran weight yarn on 4mm needles to make very dense fabric, and I think this would be such a fun project to make with someone else. Like, you can knit the different pieces and then you could assemble them together with a friend or kids. You'll just need bamboo skewers and some sort of weights for the base. This snowman by Susan B. Anderson is just so cute. All the proportions are spot on. I've seen this pattern on Wizzy by Celine's video here on YouTube, and I just fell in love with it. It's got the cute little twigs forearms, and I think you could really play around with dressing the snowman with different hats and scarves, and even make the little carrot for the nose. The last home decor pattern, it's the knitted like Balayla Raven. It's a free pattern, but it's not really a pattern. I think it's more just instructions on how to make it. But I think it's just a genius idea. So basically you just get lights and knit them literally in a piece of fabric, and then you just hang the needles and the lights on the wall as a wall hang. And I think that's really original, and it will be so festive. So anyone who walks through the door would know that you are a knitter. Now, ornaments. I have made a bunch of them, as you can see here, and the reason is that last year with my dad we made a Christmas tree that you could hang on the wall, and of course I had to make all the ornaments to go with it, because if you have something that lays flat on the wall you can't really put big Christmas baubles on them, so they have to be something that lays a bit flat, and that's why I made all these ornaments. The first 3 patterns I'm going to be sharing are 3 of my own patterns. I made the first one, that is the Merry Mini Tree, last year, and I was blown away with the amount of love it has received, so thank you if you've knit it. Now this one is knit seamlessly in the round, starting at the bottom with Turkish cast on. You then shape the tree and close it at the top. So this has no seaming whatsoever, and it's why I made the pattern in the first place, because all the other patterns I saw online were just for 2 layers that you then had to seam together, and I didn't want to do that. So that's why I made the Merry Mini Tree pattern. Now I've made all my trees pretty basic, but I've seen projects on Ravelry that are just so creative. So some have put beads on the tree, some have put like little garlands that go all the way down, and I will put a Ravelry bundle with all the Merry Mini Tree projects that I found inspiring, so that maybe you could personalize your tree as well. Now the next 2 patterns are 2 patterns that I just released, and the first one is the Merry Mini sock pattern. This is what they look like. They're just classic socks knit from the cuff down. The heel is a German short row heel, and once again they're completely seamless. So you start at the top again with a Turkish cast on, knit a whole sock and then close it at the toe. And these make for the perfect gifts if you want to add something handmade and don't have the time to make a whole accessory or garment. I think cute little ornaments are just the way to go. And the second pattern I just released is for the Merry Mini mittens. And once again, they are completely seamless. You start at the wrist and then work the body of the mitten. I find them very, very cute. But let me know in the comments if you like this pattern. Then Petite Knit is releasing 1 free pattern a year for Christmas. And the first one she released was the holly bow. I've made the holly leaves, and with them I have made placeholders for Christmas dinner. I made it with air dry clay, I printed my name, then I made the 2 holly leaves and tied them together with a cute little golden button, which I think they're very nice. You just lay them flat on the table to know where to sit. Then the second pattern she released last year was the Christmas caramel, which again I have made. This one is another very cute pattern. It's not really time consuming, but it is striped, so it does take a bit of time to make. And as I was thinking about this video and picking out all the patterns, I was wondering, will she publish another free pattern for Christmas this year? And I guess she listened, because yesterday she came out with a Christmas bell, which of course I had to make right away. This is it. Then she puts a cute little actual bell at the bottom of the knitted bell, which I think is very nice, and she uses a nice silk ribbon, which I think would be way cuter than this, but this is what I had. 3 French Hens is another pattern by Susan B. Anderson, as the snowman I mentioned before. And they are this cute little hen knit completely seamlessly in the round. These hens really caught my eye. I really enjoy the colorwork pattern on the body of the hens. But if you go through her patterns, there are so many of them. All of them are so cute, and most of them could be used as Christmas ornaments. The Ella Engel violet is this really delicate angel pattern that has lace weights, wings knit in a really cute lace leaf pattern. The skirt can be both knitted or made with fringes, and then a little wooden bead is attached for the head of the angel. and they're really delicate Christmas decorations. Then Knitting for Olive came out with a cute ornament pattern that is the Olive's Christmas heart. This is the knitting take on the classic Danish woven hearts. There are options to make a single layer and just hang it, or make it double layered and then place sweets or treats in the heart itself. Now, last but not least, we have 4 free ornament patterns that I have made before, so I'll show them to you. The first one is this cute little star by Sarah Stosno, and it's not really a written pattern, it's just a YouTube video that is actually just in German, but there are English subtitles and you could easily follow it just by looking at the hands and what she does. You start at the edge of the star and then knit end around towards the center with the creases. You make 2 layers and then you sew them together. So it does take quite a lot to make one, but I think the end result makes it worth it. Then we have the Christmas Toadstool by Marin Curley. I followed the modifications of Hip Knit Hooray. She has them written on her Ravelry page, which, if I remember correctly, make the toadstool a bit shorter. But anyways, it's all knit end around and I think the end result is very cute. The last 2 patterns are 2 that I highly recommend if you want to gift an ornament to someone because they're very fast to make. The first one is the Little Cottage by Aga Tutak. Again, I have made mine very basic, just a little window, but if you look at the projects on Ravelry, there are people who have personalized their houses in such a way that I think it would be very nice to play with decorating them. I have really made a bunch of them because they're so fast to make, so that is why I highly recommend them to gift to people. And the last one is the Snowy Mountain by Ekaterina Vorobeva. This one's very fast to knit as well. It's just simply a triangle with a little bit of color work for the snow. And yes, these 2 highly recommend as gifts. We have come to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed this roundup. I really hope you found some inspiration in here, and I really encourage you to leave in the comments any additional patterns that come to mind when you think of Christmas. And as I read through the comments, I would love to add the patterns to the Ravelry bundle. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!